Disrespect is rarely loud. Most of the time, it's subtle, quiet, easy to excuse. And that's why it's dangerous, because when disrespect goes unchecked, it teaches people how to treat you. And over time, it doesn't just damage relationships, it damages your self-worth. Forgiveness is powerful, but psychology makes one thing clear. Not all disrespect deserves forgiveness. Some forms of disrespect are not mistakes, they are patterns. Here are 7 types of disrespect you should never forgive, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. The first type of disrespect disguised as jokes. They say something hurtful, then they smile. They embarrass you, then they say, "I was just joking." Psychology calls this passive aggression. It's a way of testing boundaries without taking responsibility. If you speak up, you're too sensitive. If you stay silent, the behavior continues. Over time, these jokes chip away at your confidence. When someone repeatedly hides disrespect behind humor, they're showing you that your feelings are optional to them. That's not humor, that's control. And forgiving this teaches them one thing: they can disrespect you without consequences. The second type of disrespect, ignoring your boundaries. You clearly say no, you clearly explain your limits, and they keep crossing them. They push, they pressure, they act confused when you react. But boundaries don't require understanding, they require respect. When someone repeatedly ignores your boundaries, they are not misunderstanding you, they are prioritizing your comfort over your well-being. Psychologically, this behavior signals entitlement, and forgiving repeated boundary violations sends a dangerous message that access to you matters more than your safety or peace. The third type of disrespect, public humiliation or belittling. Some people save their worst behavior for an audience. They mock you in front of others, correct you publicly, expose personal information. Why? Because public disrespect is about power. It's an attempt to lower your status to raise theirs. And when this behavior is forgiven too easily, it reinforces the idea that your dignity is negotiable. Psychology shows that people who humiliate others publicly often repeat it, especially when there are no consequences. Your self-worth should never be entertainment. The fourth type of disrespect, consistent invalidation of your emotions. You express how something made you feel, and they respond with, "You're overreacting. It wasn't that serious. That's not what happened." This is emotional invalidation, and over time it creates self-doubt. You stop trusting your feelings, you start questioning your memory. You shrink your emotional responses to avoid conflict. This behavior is psychologically damaging because it erodes your inner authority. When someone consistently dismisses your emotions, they are telling you that your internal experience doesn't matter. Forgiving this repeatedly teaches you to abandon yourself. The fifth type of disrespect during your lowest moments. Pay attention to how someone treats you when you're vulnerable, when you fail, when you're tired, when you're struggling. Some people become colder, more impatient, less supportive. Psychology reveals that character shows most clearly when there is nothing to gain. If someone disrespects you when you're already down, they are showing you who they are without the mask. And forgiving cruelty during vulnerability often leads to repeated emotional harm. Support during weakness is not a luxury, it's a basic standard. The sixth type of disrespect, lack of accountability. They hurt you, you address it, and instead of responsibility, you get excuses, deflection, blame, silence. Psychology tells us that accountability is the foundation of trust. Without it, relationships become unstable. When someone refuses to take responsibility, they are protecting their ego at the expense of your healing. Forgiving disrespect without accountability does not restore peace, it postpones the next offense. The seventh and most important type of disrespect, repeated patterns with no change. Everyone makes mistakes, but patterns reveal intent. If the same behavior happens again and again, despite conversations, forgiveness, and chances, that is no longer a mistake. It is a choice. Psychologically, repeated disrespect shows that the cost of losing you is lower than the benefit of continuing the behavior. And that realization is painful but freeing because it tells you exactly what needs to change. Here's the truth emotional intelligence teaches. Forgiveness without boundaries is self-betrayal. Protecting your peace doesn't mean holding grudges. It means recognizing patterns, honoring your worth, and refusing to normalize disrespect. Not everything deserves forgiveness, but everything teaches you something. And sometimes, self-respect is the most powerful form of peace.